Hello, fiends, friends, and familiars. This is Matt Orozco from Macabre Daily. Very excited to be spending some time today with Bruce Wemple and LaJohn Woods, both from The Hangman, which is going to be coming out theatrically May 31st. So please make sure to get out to theaters to see it. If for whatever reason you can't, you can catch it on VOD June 4th. Bruce, nice to have you with us. LaJohn, nice to have you with me as well.
How's it going?
Thank,
Thanks for
thank
having us.
It's going great. Well, before we get too far into things, I think for everyone watching, I should mention, Bruce, you were co-writer and director on Hangman, and LaJohn, you were co-writer and star of Hangman. So I'm curious to know, how did you two get together and link up?
So the LeJohn and I have worked together a number of times. Going back all the way, like I think LeJohn, you counted. This was our fifth movie together, something crazy like that. Like
Yeah, I think it's number seven actually.
Wow.
we had worked
Lucky
together
number
a
seven.
lot already, and but LeJohn had never been the lead, and we just finished a movie, and I kind of was stirring around an idea for dad losing his son in Appalachia, something like that. And I reached out with like it was like a germ of idea, and John just kind of like had a ton to say about it and took it to a new level. So I'll let you take it from there, John. But
Yeah, absolutely, man. Like I said, I was so grateful for Bruce to reach out to me for it and give me that opportunity. And when he told me about, as far as the premise and everything about a dad taking his son on a camping trip, trying to create a better relationship before he goes off to college and deep in the Appalachian woods and whatnot. And then I said to him, what, that's already scary as it is to wake up on a camping trip and find out his son is missing. But
Right.
what about an added element of, just some violent racist locals in the area? There's some people who are not too happy to have them in the area, to just enhance that fear and heighten the moment. And Bruce was all for it. So that's how we got the Hangman, man. I'm so grateful for it. So excited about it too.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's great, and I think you both should be very proud. I think you can, the character of Leon, you can definitely tell that he's trying to make the best of an absolute shit situation, in
Yeah.
every regard. And I'm curious to know, kind of as you're thinking about the story elements, it sounds like you both collaborated on creating this whole, but what were your inspirations for some of these ideas? Like Bruce, where are you coming from this, father-son angle, and LaJohn, where were you coming from this kind of, race and kind of racism perspective? How did that all come together, and what inspirations did you guys use to formulate kind of the whole story?
on a personal level, as I was writing it, I was like a recent I am a recent father, but I was even more
Congrats.
recent father than of a son. I know, and LeJohn also is a father of a son, and so just on a personal level, like we kind of dove into those fears a little bit.
Sure.
And then I I definitely we were trying to make a movie that had fun with the concept that in other situations or other versions of it, it plays off trauma and it takes itself extremely seriously. And we kind of both agreed like we just want this to be like horror, but fun horror, entertaining. We went back and forth with the Evil Dead movies a lot, and that type of tone and character of or like the Mummy or something like that, where there's a character in the middle that like underqualified for the situation, making the best of it, but also is capable of like a cheesy one liner, and then right at the moment where it and sells it. And so yeah, that was kind of where we're going on.
No, no, absolutely. I mean, just everything that Bruce said right there, man. Just one thing I love about Bruce, he allows you to not only just be the character that he writes out, he allows you to expand on that character. And with this, with Leon, like I said, being a father, I have a 19-year-old son, a 15-year-old daughter, and everything, and it made it easier to get into Leon's world because
Right.
I just couldn't imagine uh the thought of not having any idea where my child is in an area that I'm unknown to, So when you take those natural, realistic, scary elements, it just takes a situation, and then you toss in a bloodthirsty demon. It just
Right.
makes it, like you said, a real shit situation that you got trying to find a way to get out of.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny about you kind of talked about the Evil Dead because there's a turning point in the film where Leon is like Ash. He really steps into that reluctant hero persona and just kind of owns it and goes, again, full badass at the end. So I definitely saw that turn of character there.
We called that on set Alpha Leon. Once the change, I know exactly. Once the change happens, he goes from dad, not capable, not tough, just making it his best. And there's a moment he goes Alpha Leon, and then he's got the weapons, he's suited up, he's ready to go.
It's capital L Leon
Absolutely.
right there. So,
Yeah. Yeah, man.
when thinking about the entire process, for each of you, what was one of the more challenging parts of it, but also what was one of the more rewarding parts from the whole experience?
Ooh,
From
I
like,
gotta say, uh, the logistics of it all. This was one of the most, man, we were all over the place as far as shooting this. We shot it in three separate blocks and took about 4 days to a week break in between each block. And unlike just a film, that's set in one particular location or maybe even two locations, we had a lot of locations, a lot of separate locations for this film. And that part, it was a challenge and everything. But what made it so great was everybody was up for the challenge. Everybody was down for the work. Everybody was down for the travel that we had to do and the hours that we had to put in. So that was probably definitely the most challenging thing. But again, a Bruce Wimple set, a Wimpleverse film, the comfort, the confidence, he puts that there, and it gives you that energy to see it all through.
Awesome.
yeah,
What about you, Bruce?
yeah, I think we had talked about how we kind of wanted the movie to have this feeling of like different levels to it, almost not like a video game esque, but Leon, he loses his son, and then he kind of meets these different, this world kind of gets bigger and bigger and bigger until he has to face ultimately the Hangman. And so what seems kind of like, because it's just a lot of in the woods, and had a lot of locations, and we wanted everything to feel very distinct from the thing that happened, from the location and the vibe that happened previously, so it never started feeling all the same. So that was the big one. Also, there was a decent amount, and this was probably harder on LeJohn, but some stunts and set pieces that I'll just say LeJohn did not have anyone helping him out in terms of stunts and anything like that. That was all LeJohn. But a couple hanging gags, upside down hanging gags, just making sure how to do that safely. And then we had there's a gallows in the movie that which LeJohn hangs over upside down, and there's like kind of a gateway hole to hell beneath him. Just kind of figuring that out. We did that for the most part practically. The hole is an infinity mirror
Oh
that
wow.
kind of, and then we did the things on the bottom, and then we building the tunnel that he kind of goes down. That was just all walls with different lights and goop and everything on the side, and then building the gallows, installing it, also being like, okay, what are we going to do with this when we're done with this movie? This is the creepiest thing. And yeah, just a lot of those set pieces, especially when you get into the last third of the movie. A lot of headaches, but all worth it.
I mean, it all looks
Absolutely.
great. So, that well scene in particular, the doorway scene is outstanding. And LeJohn, you definitely took quite a beating. Those ropes were hitting everybody at some point, I bet. But my last question, because we're running out of time here, is, if you all were to program a double feature with the Hangman, what movie would you program with it?
Mm, Bruce.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
So Evil Dead 2 just feels like a lazy answer, but that's probably like what I was if I was going to watch it. Because that's just we pulled so much from that, from the Ash character and everything. So yeah, I mean, Evil Dead 1 or 2, that was a lot of what we were pulling from, and I think you can kind of see the echoes if you watch one after the other. So yeah, I'm happy with that
Be
one,
a
John.
great. I'd watch that double feature.
Yeah.
What about you, LeJohn?
Man, I mean, 'cause that was the homework that Bruce had me get into in order to get into this role. Because beforehand I had never, and I shouldn't say this too loudly for all the horror fans, but I had never seen Evil Dead before I did the Hangman, and that was the homework that Bruce had me do. So I wholeheartedly agree. I can't think of anything else.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a great double feature. And again, you take parts of the Evil Dead, but it's never obvious that you're trying to be the Evil Dead. You take and make it your own, which I think is really the whole point of inspiration, is to take the idea and turn it into something new and unique. And so The Hangman is outstanding. We'll have our review up shortly. But for everybody else that's watching this, please make it a point to get to your local theaters, check your local listings, see if you can get The Hangman at your local cinema. May 31st, you can catch it there. And of course, if you can't catch it in the theaters, you can certainly catch it at home on June 4th. Thank you so much, Bruce and LeJohn. It's been a pleasure speaking with you all, and good luck with the rest of the press.
Thanks, Matt.
Yeah.